Hey there, it's your friend Chris Luck. I am the creator of AIville, which is the largest community in the world for people like yourself and me who are learning how to use AI. In this live stream, I am going to walk you through everything you need to know about how to use NotebookLM. I guarantee this will be the most in-depth, very simple NotebookLM tutorial that you'll ever see on YouTube, because I've spent a lot of time working on this. And if you're new to my live streams, I'm in my home office right now. I imagine you're sitting right here next to me. I'm going to share my computer screen and we're just going to get right into the NotebookLM AI tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started by kind of explaining the way this works. So on the left side of my screen, you are going to see the outline. So we're going to cover what is NotebookLM, NotebookLM features, NotebookLM pricing, NotebookLM demo. I will then show you how to use deep search with NotebookLM. I will show you how to use the audio overview feature in NotebookLM. I will show you how to create cinematic video overviews with NotebookLM, how to make a slide deck, how to create infographics, how to make mind maps, how to create reports and quizzes. I'm going to show you 21 cheat codes that you can use for NotebookLM. I'm going to give you 11 personal use cases that you can actually use right now with NotebookLM. And then we're going to close things off with 7 ways to make money with NotebookLM. So this is going to be quite the tutorial, that's for sure. And then on the right side of my screen, I actually have NotebookLM up and running. So that is kind of the way that this whole NotebookLM tutorial is going to work. Now, I love to go live because I love to interact with all of you that take time to show up live. So thank you, Ezem, by saying you're looking forward to my presentation. And we already have LA saying that I love NotebookLM. I do my podcast with it, and I can't wait to learn more. We've got Nanette is saying, hi, Chris. And what's up, Tool Wrangler? I can't, unfortunately, I don't want to put your comment up on the screen for everyone to see because I don't know if that will flag some things for me in YouTube. And what's up, Wayne, coming all the way in from Sydney, Australia, 6 a.m. to start NotebookLM in the dark. We've got Davitt coming from Dallas. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so first off, what is NotebookLM? So NotebookLM is Google's smartest AI tool that nobody's really talking about. Everyone's talking about, ChatGPT this and Claude that and Perplexity's new personal computer and OpenClaw, but it's like nobody's talking about NotebookLM, and I don't understand why. Because Google Labs quietly built this thing back in 2023. It started as a secret experiment called Project Tailwind. It went viral and Google opened it to everyone in 2024. Maybe that's why no one's talking about it, because it's not 2024 anymore. But it's now running on Gemini 3 with seriously upgraded brains and technology and features that you're going to see here today. And somehow the whole thing is just completely free to use, which is great because every one of you that are watching this right now can actually get in and start playing around with it. And what's going to be really cool with this, unlike all these other AI tools out there, is you can add sources and use AI to work directly with the sources that you give it or the sources that you tell to go out and get for you. So you're going to be able to drop in PDFs, you're going to be able to drop in YouTube links, you're going to be able to drop in audio files and Google Docs. NotebookLM will read every word, and all of a sudden, instantly, it will become an expert for you in whatever it is that you gave it to look at. You can ask it anything. It'll answer straight from your files. Every answer is going to link back to the same exact source it came from, and there's no web browsing unless you ask it to go out there and then grab sources for you from the web. But it's not going to go out and go out to sources that you didn't pre-qualify to kind of interact with. So here's why it makes, I feel like, every tool out there just feel completely ancient. So ChatGPT is just always going to guess. And this tool only uses your sources. NotebookLM will only use your sources. This means there's zero hallucinations, zero made-up facts. One upload can unlock podcasts and videos and slides and all kinds of stuff from the sources that you give it. The free plan is generous enough to really embarrass all the paid tools that are out there. And Google just keeps making this thing better and better every single month. And yeah, a lot of you in the chat are just saying it is just so cool. And I can't wait to hopefully open your minds to things that you can do with it you might not have been aware of. So if you're new to it or you don't know what it is, let's go over some Notebook LM features. So there's 3 panels that power your entire workspace, and you can see them right here on the left or the right side of my screen, right under my video here. You can see the 3 panels. The sources panel on the left is going to hold every file that you feed this thing. The chat panel in the middle is going to be where you can ask it whatever you want based off of your sources. And the studio panel here, let me turn off my camera there for a second. On the right hand side is where you're going to have access to all the just really cool magical things that it can really do to the sources that you give it. And I'm going to play around with all of these for you here today. All 3 of these panels, they work together in just one very clean interface, and you can resize the panels to just fit exactly your needs. Like if you don't really care about, like, you don't need to look at all the sources, you can kind of just like size that down. Or if you really want to like look at the studio, you can, you can mold this however you would like. So let's go ahead and explore every source type that it can actually read. So when you get started with a new notebook, and I'm going to walk you through actually setting up how to use Notebook LM, and I'll give you a tutorial on using it when we get to the Notebook LM demo portion. But just understand that it will read PDFs, it'll read Word documents, it'll read plain text files, it'll read everything like that that's going to work perfectly. Google Docs and Slides will pull straight from your Google Drive. If you want to attach Google Drive, you can. You can paste in this is my favorite part. You can paste in a YouTube URL and it will read the entire YouTube video transcript. You can build slides off of it. You can build a podcast off of a YouTube URL that you can interact with. It's going to blow your mind. You can drop in an MP3. It'll transcribe the audio for you. Even images and multimodal PDFs are fully supported now. And you can discover the studio and everything it has waiting for you just right here on the right-hand side of the screen, just kind of where my video is covering up. And the studio is where your sources just become something completely new, because you can you can bundle a bunch of sources together and get audio overviews, video overviews, slide decks, mind maps, cinematic videos, infographics, data tables, flashcards, quizzes, FAQs, briefing docs, all of that. You could just get all of that from one source, or you could get all that from up to 50 sources. It's all up to you. Now, as far as the pricing, you can start for free and you will never feel like you're missing out, because the free plan will work with any Google account you already have. You get 100 notebooks and 50 sources at 0 cost. You can ask up to 50 questions per day, completely free of charge. You can generate 3 audio overviews and 3 video overviews per day. And most people will never hit these limits on the free plan ever. So you could really just use this always for free. And you can unlock more power with the Pro plan at just $20. So Pro is going to be bundled inside the Google One AI Premium plan. That'll give you 500 notebooks, 300 sources for each notebook. If you really want to get crazy, you can jump from 50 to 500 chat queries a day. You can generate 20 audio and video overviews per day, and Gemini Advanced will also come with 2 terabytes of storage. And then you can really just see which plan fits for your situation. So I'll tell you right now, like casual users and students, and even some just basic level researchers will just completely thrive on the free plan. Daily power users will feel the free limits probably pretty fast. Pro users, it'll make sense if you already just have a Google paid plan. You just instantly unlock all these features. And then teams and businesses should use the ultra tier plan, because I mean, the limits are just kind of blown up. And then you can start, I recommend just start for free. You should really start for free during this Notebook LM tutorial that we're going through, because that's the best way to learn, is by doing it. And then just really only consider upgrading when the limits actually start kind of hurting a little bit, because you're kind of capping out on the limits. Okay, so, and yeah, Christopher, I believe that Google could very well win the AI market as well. And it's just, all their stuff is really good, because I mean, it's Google. Like they're just, I feel like they have probably the best resources out there. So, okay, so let's get into the Notebook LM demo. Again, I have a lot of stuff to share with you. You can see everything on your screen that we're going to be talking about today in this live stream. So to create your first notebook in under 2 minutes, you're going to go to notebooklm.google.com. and you're going to sign in. So here, let me go ahead and I'm going to open in a new tab. And basically, when you go to create your new notebook, this is what it's going to look like. I clicked the big blue create new notebook button, and it'll take you to a screen that kind of looks like this. And then you just give your notebook a name that matches your project. And then you're going to have up to like a 3-panel workspace ready to go. And this whole setup takes about 20 seconds. But before you even give it a name, you can ask it to go out there and search for web sources if you want to put a notebook together and have it go out and get some sources for you. But if you have like a YouTube video that you kind of been wanting to get to, but you don't have the time because it's just too long, you could drop in a YouTube video URL. You can connect your Google Drive, connect with any of the files on your Google Drive. You can upload files, but that's kind of the setup as far as like adding your sources now. And then you will title your notebook up here on the top right. So you just title it whatever you want. So I created one. Well, here, I created a couple of them. So here, let me just show you here. I'll go back. So I created one, for instance, this Joe Rogan and Elon Musk recently had an interview that was on YouTube. Well, not recently, it was like a few months ago, but his interviews are so long and I don't have the time to read them. So I just watch them. So I created a NotebookLM notebook just for this one interview. And all I did was just drop in the YouTube URL. So when you add your first source, you can really watch it start to come alive, because it'll pull in the full transcript. Again, you can drag and drop any PDF straight into the sources panel. Once you have your NotebookLM kind of up and going here, here, let me make this screen a little bigger for you. So you can see, here, I'll even zoom in. So you can see once you have, I create a notebook and just have one source, but if you want, you can click add sources at any time and then tell it like what you want to go out there and find some sources for you on. And I'll show you how I did this too in a second. And then you can just drop more files in. So it's not like when you create a notebook, you're one and done. Like if you have more sources to add later, you can go back into your notebook and just keep adding sources over time, which is a lot of fun. And then you can, again, connect your Google Drive, import documents without downloading them, and NotebookLM will read everything and get to work immediately. And then once you actually get it pulled up and get your first notebook created, you can really start to ask your first question and see what comes back. So to do that, you're going to head over to the chat panel, which is this panel here. I'll make it right here. Size it down a little. The chat panel is going to be right here in the middle. And then you just ask a question, and every answer is going to come with a citation from the sources that you loaded in. And you can click on citations, and it will jump straight to that passage. You could ask for a summary and see what it already knows. And then, from here, the entire studio is going to be ready and waiting, which we'll get to in a second. But let me just show you like this Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And then the chat panel's here in the middle. So it's going to even give you a couple questions that maybe you could start off with. Like, what does Elon believe about the whole woke mind virus? How is Starship's design pushing boundaries of rocket engineering? Tell me about Elon's theory regarding AI and population control. Or you can just ask it anything else. You can be like, hang on a second, where's my button? There we go. Is there anything in this interview where Elon actually talked about AI and jobs that it's going to be creating? Because again, I haven't watched this long interview, so I'm just curious, is there? So when you ask the question, depending on how many sources you have, it may take I don't know, it's crazy in the world of AI how I say like 10 to 15 seconds might be a long time, but it could take like 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, depending on how many sources you have. But this one, again, it just went through, and then now I can finally start chatting with the source I pulled up. So it's like Elon Musk addresses the future of jobs in the age of AI through his focus primarily on how the nature of work will shift and eventually become entirely optional, rather than listing specific new jobs that AI will invent. Then it goes into more details about it. It talks about the end game, how work is actually going to become optional, because he believes that AI and robotics will boost the economy so much so that working will just be completely optional. So pretty cool. That's kind of how you can chat with any sources that you are going to drop in to NotebookLM. Now, if you want to use deep research, this is going to take a little bit. This will take a few minutes. And what deep research is you can let it do all the digging while you do nothing. So if you don't know of a podcast URL or a YouTube video or anything like that, you can just click on deep research. So I would click here in the sources panel, and here, I'll go ahead and show you right here. So there's a little drop down that says fast research. I would change it to deep research. Here, I'll keep zooming in so you can actually see it whenever I'm clicking on it, because I don't know what you can and can't see. I hope you're watching this on a computer or an iPad or a 100-inch TV in your living room, because it'll be easier for you to see all the stuff that I'm sharing with you. So you want to choose deep research, because then you can just tell it, like, go out and find every podcast, interview, article, whatever, about whatever on this topic, and it'll go do it. So I'll show you how I did that. I actually did this on Steve Jobs. So I asked it to go out and find every source, every article, every interview about Steve Jobs and how he actually breaks down during his presentation style, how he uses storytelling and how he uses just the way how he breaks down complex things and makes them sound simple. I would love to be able to chat with a notebook about all of the sources about Steve Jobs and how he explains, how he describes things, because it could help me be better at doing live streams for you and breaking down the things that I teach. So Steve Jobs, I'm always thinking about whenever I'm doing anything. I mean, that's why he's literally right here looking over my shoulder. That's his biography right there. So I can turn around and be like, hey, Steve, what do you think about that? And so I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs. And if you like my presentation style, and if you ever see that I'm changing a little bit in the way that I present, it's because I'm probably using NotebookLM to ask questions about, how Steve Jobs would go about doing something. Okay, so you're gonna click deep research. Again, explain it whatever you want. It'll search for hundreds of quality sources across the web. You're not gonna have to manually search, open tabs, copy and paste links. It'll evaluate every source, pick the best ones for you, and then you sit back and then you just let the agents do the heavy lifting. So it went and pulled all of these resources. It pulled PDFs. It pulled some of his best talks. It pulled interviews with Steve. And these are from very well credible sources. There's even Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos interviews, just all kinds of stuff. So it got 50 sources in like probably 45 seconds. And then now what I can do is kind of play with talking to it based off of these sources. But I want to take it a step further. I don't want to show you just how to talk to NotebookLM. I want to show you what blew my mind away with NotebookLM and what will kind of help you. So you can turn one question into a full research report. So it could build a structured research plan before it even starts by going out and getting the right data for you. It'll send agents to gather everything it needs. It'll take everything and compile it into one clean, organized report. Citations are included. The whole process takes minutes instead of hours or days. And if you want like a report, then what you would do is on the right-hand side, you're just going to click on report. And then you're going to say, like, do you want a briefing doc? Do you want a study guide? Do you want a blog post, or do you want to create your own report on something specific relating to the information in this? Now, again, I have 50 sources loaded into this doc or this notebook. So when it's going to try to make suggestions for me, it takes a while for it to make a suggestion because there's a lot of sources it's looking at. So it's saying, would you also like a report on a strategic communication playbook, organizational leadership, rhetorical technique primer, a presentation performance manual? I think it'd be pretty cool to hear about strategic communication. So I just clicked on that, and then you can see on the bottom right here, this is our studio panel. Here, let me turn my face off for a second. So on the right-hand side, again, this is our studio panel. And then I can take a look. You can see I'm generating a report right now. Earlier, before we started, I've heard cinematic video overviews with NotebookLM take quite a while. It could take up to like 20 minutes. So I generated one of those before we started. I'm hoping it's going to be done before we get started here. And then I also had it make a mind map, a slide deck, a podcast. We're going to get into all these in a minute. So you're going to see me generate these on the fly as we're doing this live, because I want you to really see the time it takes NotebookLM to do certain things. Okay, so you can also use results to build things that people actually want, which when we get to the end of this live stream, I'm going to show you ways you could use this to make money during this whole world of AI and the gold rush that's going on, and how NotebookLM can be your one and only tool for everything. So you can add research reports directly to your notebook sources. You could use Studio, and again, to turn into podcasts or slides or anything like that. You can share the notebook with anyone who needs the same info. So like this whole notebook I'm building on Steve Jobs right now, if I wanted to share it with all of you, on the very top right, there's a share button. I just click on it and I can just copy the link and then paste it in the chat. And all of you would have access to the notebook with the sources, with all of the reports and the quizzes and the flashcards and the infographics and the mind maps and everything. And I might, we'll see how this goes. If this turns out to be a good notebook, at the very end, I will click the share link and I will drop it in the live chat for all of you that are taking the time to be here live. And that way you can see what a fully built out notebook looks like. And what's up, Lilia, coming all the way from Boca Raton, Florida. I'm so jealous whenever I see a lot of you jumping in the live streams and you're coming from some really cool places. And also, why we wait for things to generate, because this is going to be a very interactive live stream on NotebookLM, because I want to give you a full-blown, like authentic tutorial on how this works, how long some of this stuff takes, because I don't want you to be clicking generate and clicking buttons, and then you're like, why is this taking forever? I want to show you firsthand. Some of the stuff might take a little while. If you can do me a favor, though, when you're here live, if you like the style of where this live stream is going, hit like on this video, because that helps me go back and look at my stats and see which videos have a high number of likes with the number of views that I have. So there's a decent amount of you that are here right now. So I just appreciate, that's all I'm asking for, because I'm not charging for this live stream. Okay, so next is going to be how to use the audio overview feature. Now this, I should have saved this towards the end, because this is like the biggest wow factor moment that I've had with NotebookLM ever. So you get to see it right now. So you can turn any document or I can take all of those 50 sources it went and got about Steve Jobs. And when I go to the studio panel, there's going to be a feature up here on the top. I'm just going to keep my head turned off for a minute so you can just kind of pay more attention to what you're seeing here. So up here on the top right, there's an audio overview feature. When you click on this, edit, there's all kinds of really cool stuff you can do. You can do a deep dive conversation between two hosts that are unpacking, connecting the topics and the sources. You could have a bite-sized briefing to help you really grasp the ideas of the sources. You could have a critique, which would be like an expert review of your sources, offering constructive feedback. If you really want someone to like critique your material, you could have a debate between two hosts illuminating different perspectives on your sources. You can choose different languages. It has all kinds of languages you can pick from. You can have the podcast be default or short or long. I don't know how long those actually tend to be. I couldn't find any resources on that, but I just would make it default. And if you wanted to dial in on specific angles of what they're going to talk about, you could actually give it a prompt down here, which is really cool. So again, these hosts, they'll discuss every source you added. They'll summarize, connect ideas. The whole podcast generates in about 2 to 5 minutes. Lucky for you, I've already generated one for Steve Jobs. So we'll go ahead and talk about, you'll hear it here in a second. You can download it and listen to any device you want wherever you go. So if you have a phone, you can actually download the NotebookLM app on your phone, and then you can access all of your notebooks, all of your downloads and everything there. And you already saw you can customize the tone and the length, and you can even join in on the conversation and talk to the AI hosts while they are talking. This is the part that blew my mind. This is by far the most exciting AI demo thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's fun whenever I'm showing you how to do like AI influencers and making AI songs and all that. But what I'm about to share with you right now blew my mind. And I'm going to have so much fun with this, because anything I want to learn, okay? So I want you to think, again, this is free, right? NotebookLM is free. So there's no reason you should not be playing around with this right now or tonight or tomorrow or this weekend or for the rest of your life. You should get your NotebookLM account. And then once you have it set up, think about the things you want to learn, okay? So think about, it could be a skill you want to learn, or maybe there's a certain topic you're trying to get better at, or something you're really curious about when it comes to history or something. You can create a notebook around whatever topic you want. Tell it to go out and do deep research on the topic that you're wanting. Wait a couple minutes. It's going to pull the best sources on that topic. And I would immediately go to that audio overview and create an audio podcast on it, because then you can interact with it. And it is the coolest thing you've ever seen. So let me show you, because it's one thing me talking about it, but I'm very excited about it, as you can tell. But this is awesome. I can't wait to show this to you. So it might be a little boring for the topic for some of you, because again, this is how Steve Jobs uses rhetorical and vocal strategies that really makes him he was the best communicator in the world, in my opinion, and transformed Apple into an iconic brand because he got so many people on board with what he believed in was the future. So that being said, I've went ahead and created a podcast. So we'll click on podcast right here. Actually, no. We're not going to click on podcast yet. We are going to click on interactive, because if you click on podcast, it's a 20-minute podcast it made, and it literally made this in probably a minute and a half. And then it's two people talking about all the sources you just loaded in. But what's crazy is this interactive part. Okay. So this is going to be cool. So we're going to hit interactive. It's going to load up. I'm going to hit play. We're going to listen to it for a minute. And when it gets to a part where I'm just going to want to interrupt them and kind of challenge them about what they're saying, you're going to see there's almost zero latency, which means there's hardly any seconds in between me talking with these hosts that are just completely made up AI. And they're listening to what I say, and then they're going to respond to what I say, and it might change the whole tone of the podcast completely. So again, this might be boring for some of you, but it's not boring for me. So let's hit play here.
In 2010, researchers took the exact raw acoustic waveform of human charisma and literally graphed it.
They mathematically proved it?
Yeah, they mathematically proved why Steve Jobs sounded like this, visionary hacking the future, and why other tech CEOs at the time sounded like guys just reading a VCR manual.
Right, the contrast was staggering.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are reverse engineering the ultimate algorithm for human persuasion. We're ripping the source code straight out of Steve Jobs' legendary reality distortion field.
I love that framing.
And to do this, we've pulled a massive stack of data. I mean, we've got acoustic prosodic research papers from the University of Southern Denmark, rhetorical breakdown. Oh, hey there, what's up?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt the podcast, but I don't understand any of these words you're using. They're super long, they're confusing. Imagine I'm 15 years old and I'm in high school, and I need you to dumb down what you're saying to something that I can actually understand. And I'm most interested in how he just breaks down complex strategies into something simple and gets a lot of people on board.
Oh, please, never apologize for jumping in.
We love the feedback. Thank you for telling us that.
Okay, let's unpack this right away. You are absolutely right.
We got caught in our own jargon, and that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to teach here.
We're talking about simplicity, and then we're using words like acoustic prosodic. That's the curse of knowledge in action.
We sound exactly like the complicated bank instructions we criticize. We'll simplify this immediately.
So you mentioned you want to know how Jobs makes complex stuff simple and gets people on board. That is the core of what we're studying.
He had the courage to keep it simple, which is actually really hard to do.
Simplicity signals confidence, right? When we talked about acoustic prosodic, we just meant the music of his voice, the physical sound, the rhythm, and the pitch.
We're essentially finding out that great communicators, like Jobs, avoid confusion by always starting at the top, or the big picture, and then drilling down, not the reverse.
Exactly. We were about to dive into rhetorical breakdowns of the 2005 Stanford commencement speech and historical analyses of Apple's most iconic marketing events.
And we are going to translate all of that into terms that make sense, like immediately applicable.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Sorry to interrupt again, but I love everything that you're doing, but can you actually just kind of skip to just breaking down how I can actually take some of what made Steve Jobs so powerful in his delivery? And when I'm teaching people how to use AI tools like NotebookLM on YouTube, I would love to be able to have strategies to get points across like Steve did. So can you just help by giving me some pointers?
Absolutely. You want to skip the why and get right to the how for your YouTube audience?
That is a completely valid request.
That is exactly what we should be doing.
Okay, so you want to teach people how to use AI tools like NotebookLM.
You need to translate that complex software into a compelling vision.
Let's focus on 3 core immediate strategies you can deploy today.
The first pointer, keep your words super simple.
Think Twitter-like headlines for your AI tool.
Jobs described the iPod as 1,000 songs in your pocket.
You need to simplify the AI's complex features into one memorable, powerful phrase.
Don't say, this leveraging a large language model to optimize data synthesis.
Say NotebookLM gives you a super brain for your school notes.
That answers the why should I care?
Okay, so we could probably sit here for 2 hours of me going back and forth and you hearing how I interact with these two hosts on this podcast. And that one feature in Notebook LM is the most exciting feature out of everything that I'm sharing with you. So that is just the most impressive feature for me. But just understand that I am using this and I'm using Notebook LM for my own personal use cases to be able to be better at what it is that I'm teaching and talking about and all that. So all right, so let's go ahead and I'm trying to see if I can exit out of this pretty easily. It doesn't look like I can. Here, let me go back and just go back into my Steve Jobs notebook. There we go. So, what did you all think of that, by the way, as far as the whole presentation on how you can interact, create, load in a bunch of sources, don't even chat with it using the internal chat feature. Just go right to creating a podcast out of the sources you load, and then start listening to podcasts in an interactive environment. And then you just start pressing the button to join in on the podcast and just start asking questions. And you can redirect everything that is going on. So that is what I'm very excited about. Again, if you like this and like what you're seeing, if you hit like on this live stream, that helps me out in knowing that you like this type of real world kind of examples. Next up, it looks like we may have, I was hoping I would have a cinematic video overview of these 50 Steve Jobs sources, and it looks like it just finished. So before we get to this, I'm going to download it really quick to my computer because I want to make sure that instead of trying to play it on the website, I can just pull it up on my computer, and hopefully you'll be able to see it a lot better. And thanks to all of you that are actually saying amazing stuff in the chat. And my mom's here. Thanks, Mom, for saying that is amazing. And we have awesome and impressive. Good. So cinematic overviews. This is the most recent thing that Notebook LM came out with that people are also losing their mind over. I don't like it as much. I'm not as excited about it as what I just shared with you with the interactive audio overviews, but I'll still show you what I can do. So you can take all your sources and turn them into a fully narrated AI video. So you head over to the studio panel. Here, I'll turn off my camera again. And then on the top right, you're going to see where it says video. So you're going to click on that. And then it's going to have a cinematic feature now that's a brand new feature that you can use, which if you can't read, I'll read it out loud. It's a rich, immersive experience that unpacks complex ideas in your sources through engaging visuals and storytelling. There's also an explainer style video or brief style video. And then what you can do is you're not, there is no camera, there's no microphone, there's no editing you have to do. You just say, I want a cinematic video. You have to wait. Again, it takes quite a while. It took it like 15 minutes or so for this to actually be ready, but it happened to be ready right now as I got to it. So I feel like the Notebook LM gods are looking over us right now. So, all right, what you're going to be able to do before I open up what it generated for us for this demonstration is you can watch visuals and diagrams and slides like build themselves in a really cool cinematic way. The AI is going to pull key facts and turn them into visual slides, charts, diagrams, quotes. They're all going to appear exactly when they need to appear. Nano Banana 2 is what's powering the visual generation behind all these scenes that you're about to see. And every visual is built directly on what it is that you uploaded. And the result looks like something like a production team completely made. And you can even share your video in one click. So when you have your video downloaded, which it's on the right side of my screen, if I was to click on it, there's a share button. So I could actually get the link and share it with all of you or anybody just directly out of my Notebook LM. This is perfect for briefing a team without scheduling a meeting. Teachers could share video summaries to entire classrooms over specific topics or history or psychology or whatever, whatever the, the class is in school that they're trying to teach. And one video could replace an hour-long presentation instantly. So I generated one for this. I have not watched this yet, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. But this is what the cinematic video overview looks like by just me saying, I want a cinematic video overview of the Steve Jobs sources. Okay, so let's watch some of this. We don't have to watch the whole thing. It's 3 minutes and 47 seconds. And I know this isn't what all of you want to know about. So we'll just watch some of it. So I want you to pay attention to the visuals, the cinematics, the audio, just everything, because this is also what a lot of people are losing their mind over in a good way.
A man in a black turtleneck walks across a dark stage. The crowd falls dead silent, hanging on every syllable, and then erupts over a piece of consumer electronics. This is the source of the reality distortion field, a phrase coined to describe his ability to command a room and make impossible visions inevitable. But that influence may be less mystical than the industry originally assumed. Researchers at the University of Southern Denmark recently gathered the audio from his historical speeches to perform a rigorous computer-based acoustic analysis. The results reveal a systematic engineering of human attention, a charisma built on measurable, repeatable data. The engineering starts at the macro layer with visual empathy. His slides used massive images and almost zero text, a design so intuitive that a deaf person could follow the pitch perfectly.
Okay, so you all are getting also a peek into my world about a lot of people say, Chris, what do you do when you're not working? Like, what do you do on your free time, and what are you studying? What do you like to read? This right here. This is the kind of stuff that I'm obsessing over, because I feel like it's going to make me better at what I do, which is making things easier for you to understand and apply to your life. So this is just really cool. And it generated all these visuals. And this is why it takes a good 15 minutes or so to be able to put one of these cinematic things together, because it is unbelievable. And I can't wait to watch this. So that is what the cinematic video overviews are inside of NotebookLM. Now, how do you make a slide deck? I feel like we're going back in time now. I should have started with like slide decks and stuff, because I just showed you some really big wow moments. I didn't think to organize them where you would be able to to actually build up to the big main event. But a slide deck is still a slide deck. So if you want to make a slide deck with NotebookLM, you could build a full presentation from your source in minutes. You head back over to the studio panel, and then up here on the top right, you're going to click on slide deck. So when you click on slide deck, it's going to give you the options if you want like a detailed deck, or do you just want presenter slides. In each slide, that'll get a headline, it'll get key points, supporting data. AI will decide the narrative flow, so you don't have to. And a full presentation can be ready in about 3 minutes flat. Every slide, you can actually customize it. So once it actually generates a slide, you can edit the headlines, the bullet points, you can change out visuals, you could have it make different styles with Nano Banana 2. The Ultra plan can actually remove the NotebookLM watermark if you're on the Google Ultra plan, the AI Ultra plan. And you can really make it look like you just built it from scratch yourself and export it and present like you spent hours on it. So to show you what one of these slide decks look like, and then I will then jump into show you what infographics look like. So I generated a slide deck down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's go ahead and just hit Start Slideshow, and then it's going to pop up the slideshow. I actually haven't done this yet. So it looks like I just hit right on the keyboard. So it made this entire slide deck out of the source files that I loaded into this NotebookLM project. So you could, again, just simply put in a link to a YouTube video, and you could generate a cinematic video overview. You could generate a slide deck. You could generate an interactive audio overview. So however you like to consume information and learn information, you're in charge of however it is you'd like to do it. But that's what the slide deck feature looks like. Now, the next feature is going to be called Infographics. So if you want to create infographics with NotebookLM, you can build beautiful visuals that explain anything to anyone. You go back over to that studio panel, and then you're going to be able to click on Infographics, and then it's going to give you the options here. I'm going to actually make this a little bigger, where you can actually see. It'll give you the options where you can say, I want an infographic that looks like a sketch, or I want an infographic that looks like this, kawaii thing, or professional, or scientific, or anime, or clay, or editorial, or instructional, or a bento grid, or bricks. You can have it be landscape, portrait, or square. You could have the detail be very concise, standard, or detailed. And then you could even, if there's not a style you like, you could give it exactly the kind of style that you want, what kind of color scheme you want. You could tell it what kind of stats you wanted to highlight. Now, I tried to generate some infographics for Steve Jobs, but for some reason it did not do an infographic. I don't know why. Actually, maybe it did. No, it did. it gave me a report. So what I have to do for the infographic is jump back out. And then I was playing around with, there's a guy that teaches personal branding and just how to be better at personal branding. And I feel like I'm trying to get better at just branding myself. And again, this is why I'm like learning from different people and the best that I can learn from to get better at what I'm doing. So this guy has like a 6-hour video on YouTube about personal branding. I don't have 6 hours to sit and watch this YouTube video. So what I did was I made an infographic off of it. So for the infographic, let's go ahead and just pop it up here. So it made this infographic that is just one sheet that breaks down everything he talked about over the 6-hour video. So it's about the high trust personal brand blueprint. It talks about establishing brand positions, the difference between followers versus customers. I mean, just really cool stuff. But it took a lot of really in-depth key points from a YouTube video and just turned it into an infographic. And you can make these infographics, again, however you would like, which is a lot of fun. Now, also with these infographics, the secret sauce behind them is that the reason they look so good is that every infographic is powered by Nano Banana 2. It's the same image model that Google uses across all their top products right now. And Nano Banana 2 handles all the layout, the color, the visual design, everything. It's going to read your content and it's going to decide what deserves to actually be visual in an infographic. And the result's going to look like a professional designer made it for you. And also you can share these infographics and really make people just stop and stare. You can download them as high resolution files. You can share them on social media straight from NotebookLM. And if you're an ultra plan user, you can also remove the watermark as well. Another thing you can do with NotebookLM is create mind maps. So mind maps are going to allow you to really just think faster and work smarter. They will take complex topics, especially when I have 50 sources over Steve Jobs and his rhetoric and how he positions and teaches and all that, and how he did all that. It can turn them into visual thinking tools. And it's really good for anyone who learns by seeing connections between things. And students like to use them to prep for exams and half the time. Businesses use them to map out strategies and decisions, and anyone can use them, and nobody needs any training at all. So I'll show you what one looks like in a minute. What you're going to do is head back over to the studio, and on the right-hand side, you just click on Mind Map, which, let me hide my face again. So you'll see Mind Map right here on the right-hand side. There is no features or settings in Mind Map. You just click on it, and then it will create the Mind Map. So it created one for me. For all of these, the Steve Jobs lexicon, the values, vision, and voice based on 50 sources. So it took 50 sources and all of this data and put it into this one mind map for me. And you can really explore like every branch and discover every hidden connection between all the sources. And you can click on these nodes that you're going to see here and expand on them, see what lives underneath them. You can zoom in on branches, read details about points, use gaps in research, and export the map however you like. So for Steve Jobs and linguistic and marketing legacy, if we want to look at the marketing philosophy, we can see how he does values over features and how marketing is all about the values. He talks about how the Nike analogy was always about honoring athletes. You sell dreams, not boxes. Here's his 3 pillars to his marketing philosophy. Here is his brand strategy. Here's his presentation mastery. Here's his narrative structure. Here's his visual design. How he does his visual design, his rhetoric devices, how he does preparation for all of his stuff. If I want to see how he does his linguistic signature, here's all of that. His Steveisms, his branding nomenclature, how he does his acoustic profiling. If I want to look at his culture impact, I can learn about his Think Different campaign, his reality distortion field, his product revolutions. And then as you're looking at all this stuff, and then again, this is all polled. This was generated in seconds from the 50 sources that I actually imported. So I don't have to take time to read all these sources and links and watch videos and listen to podcasts. I could just build out this really cool mind map. And if I want to learn more about his reality distortion field, you can click on one of these nodes and it will take you to the chat box, and where you can actually chat specifically as you would normally like chat with ChatGPT, just about his reality distortion field in the larger context of cultural impact. So it takes a minute to load it up because, again, it's pulling from all the sources that it has. But once it pulls it up and the chat's going to be ready, it's going to let me know all about the reality distortion field and everything like this. But then I could go like how I talk to the podcast, the two podcast hosts. I can then talk directly to just chat if you prefer just to do that. So it says like, how did the I prefix reflect Jobs' core value? What was the death march internal rehearsal process like? How did Jobs use the villain narrative in presentations? Or I could say, what was this? How could I use the reality distortion field in how I actually present NotebookLM to people on YouTube that are looking up how to use NotebookLM, and I'm teaching them a tutorial? So we can then just take very specific points across all the sources that you have and interact with it, and then it will just start giving you guidance. And this is like, not a lot of people talk about NotebookLM just being an expert researcher, and it's like a great research assistant. I don't look at it like that. I look at NotebookLM as just the genie in a bottle. I can compare everything in AI to a genie in a bottle, because this is just a different type of genie in a different type of bottle that we can actually talk about. So it's letting me know, how I could, start the video by establishing the villain of modern research. I actually should have done all this before I did, so I could actually, you know what? I'm going to do this for my next live stream. I'm going to spend a lot of time kind of learning some techniques and see if I can make the live stream have a little more impact. But it's given me everything I need to know. It's like, here, script a holy what moment, because every memorable Jobs presentation had emotionally charged, unforgettable event. So for NotebookLM, I should maybe feature the most magical feature and demonstrate it dramatically. That's kind of what I did without realizing I was doing it with the podcast feature and doing the interactive, like interrupting the podcast. That would be the magical, holy moly moment. So this is just a lot of really cool stuff that you can actually do. And sorry for those of you that are thinking that this is information overload. The good thing about my tutorials is, I'll tell you right now, when you can go watch an 8-minute tutorial on YouTube about how to use NotebookLM, but you're going to get 8 minutes of advice. The way that I like to do my tutorials on YouTube, and I know you know this, Howard, because you come to a lot of my live streams, is I like to dig deep into all these tools that I'm showing, and I want to just kind of play around with them and have you actually be like Steve Jobs looking over my shoulder, and you're sitting here next to me, and we're just playing with these tools. And then if this feels like information overload for a NotebookLM tutorial, bookmark this, come back to it, or even better, take the link to this video, go create a notebook inside of NotebookLM, drop this live stream link in when it's over, and then chat and interact with it. Listen to a podcast about it. I'm actually gonna do that myself whenever we're done, and see actually how NotebookLM would interpret what I just did with this live stream. So that actually, thanks for mentioning that, Howard, because that kind of helped me out. Okay, so now how to recreate reports and quizzes. So if you want to create reports and quizzes, the easiest thing to do is just stop studying hard and let NotebookLM do all of the work for you. And thanks, Brian, by saying that this is great information. You used it, but you will dive deeper. And that's the whole point. And I love that Tamara says that she never knew about some of these. Thank you. You're welcome. So I want to make sure that I always am giving you the best, most in-depth tutorial on whatever topic it is that I have. So if you see I have a live stream coming out about a certain thing or a certain tool, you better believe we're going to go super in-depth and kind of really rip that thing apart and play with it. So with creating reports and quizzes with NotebookLM, you can click on the study guide over here on the studio. Actually, they changed it. They changed it to flashcards. It was they used to be a study guide, but now they have flashcards and quizzes. So they broke it in two different sections, because flashcards will give you like timelines and FAQs all generated in a click. Every output's going to be grounded in exactly what you upload. And studying just could really become something that you really look forward to. And you can generate a full professional report with all of these when you come to studying, with like having a briefing doc. Like I generated a whole briefing doc about Steve Jobs in a strategic communication playbook. So I can download this and actually just use it as like a study guide for how he did strategic communication. If I wanted, I could actually click on quiz on the right-hand side here, and I can just say, give me a standard number of questions, give me a very easy level difficulty, and generate me a quiz. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see it's going to be generating a quiz that's going to be for this. Now, I have not gone through all these sources yet, so I would probably fail this quiz, but you get the idea of how you can actually do quizzes. And you can really quiz yourself on anything that you upload and that you actually really want to learn and you actually really want to just remember. So you saw how to do all that. So I kind of jumped ahead on that one. And I will show you, I've created one on the AI Gold Rush. So I did a long YouTube video talking about the AI Gold Rush on my live stream, and I created a quiz just to show you, like I created quizzes, reports, all kinds of stuff on it, but just to show you what the quiz would look like. Here, let me make it a little, see if I can expand a little bigger here. So the quiz was like, according to the AI Gold Rush letter, what was the primary purpose of AIville? So AIville, again, is my community that is not just a community anymore. We have tools, we have resources, we have blueprints, we have tutorials that help people learn how to use AI, but also make money with AI during the AI Gold Rush. So so it's not to serve as a search engine specifically to find news and articles about AI, to provide a fully stocked mining camp with every tool and map needed to extract cash from AI, to function as a government regulated agency that monitors the ethical use of AI, or a software development firm. I believe it is a fully stocked mining camp. So you click on that, and then, yep, that is right. And then we go next. So is the AI Gold Rush video transcript, how many humans are currently estimated to be on the planet? 6.8, 8.1, 10, or 3.2? I'll go with 8.1, and that's right. So then I go next. What is the specific total number of done-for-you prompts provided to AIville members? 129, 7,500, 31,691, or 18,000? I believe it's 31,691, and that is right. So you can see, and then you can actually hit explain, and it will take that part of that quiz, and you can then go in and have a chat specifically about that one topic on the quiz. So this is great for students that are really, just kind of struggling with certain topics or subjects. It's not like just flashcards where it's just, here's the question, flip it over, and there's the answer. You can actually interact with everything in it. Okay. So Marcella says you're cheating. I was cheating a little bit because I actually I ran it through the transcript of a recent YouTube video I did, and I was curious if I actually knew the answers to my own questions, and I did. So I passed on that quiz. All right, so now let's go over 21 cheat codes that you could actually use for NotebookLM. So I believe cheat codes, for those of you that are kind of new to me, I love to play games. And when I was a kid, I had this game genie where you could take any game and plug into your Nintendo. So my Nintendo is right there. So a game that would be really hard, if I need unlimited lives or if I need God mode or something, I plug in the Game Genie, plug it into the Nintendo, and then it gives me a whole bunch of really cool cheat codes that I can use for the game. So I like to think about whenever I'm showing you new tools and stuff, I want to be like a little Game Genie for you and tell you some things that could help unlock certain things within the AI tool like NotebookLM you probably didn't think about. So for 21 cheat codes to use NotebookLM, here's some things you can do. So these are a bunch of writer downers. So you can use Discover Sources to find new web sources automatically. You can pin your best notebooks so they're always within reach, because I will tell you, when you start using this, you could have hundreds of notebooks. So make sure you pin the ones that you want to keep going back to. Select specific sources per chat for precise answers. So when you're actually having a new chat with, here, let me go ahead and clear out my chats here with the Steve Jobs. So if we're starting all the way over and we have not had a chat yet, I can uncheck all the sources and just go check specific ones and then have a chat with just those specific sources. You can download audio overviews and actually they will download as an MP3, and you can put them on your phone and listen to them in your car or when you're out on a walk or when you're working out or whatever, because these are like 20-minute audio interviews and they're much better than a normal podcast. You can share notebooks in chat mode only to protect your sources. You can set expertise level from beginner to all the way down to beginner for very simple explanations. You can upload meeting recordings and get instant action items. You could feed a deep research report back in as a new source. You could generate a mind map before you start asking any questions, because you saw it loaded 50 Steve Jobs deep research sources. And then I opened up a mind map and I could get a visual diagram of everything that's in those sources. And I could click on one specific node or one specific box and go have a chat with just that one specific topic, which is really cool. You can use the output language selector to work in any language. You can paste a competitor website URL and ask it anything. That's a big hack right there. You can upload a YouTube video URL instead of watching it. You saw me do that. You can ask it to find gaps and weaknesses in your own research. You could use multiple notebooks to keep projects clean and separate. You could generate flashcards the night before any big presentation and just kind of go through them. You could ask for an FAQ to see questions that your sources will answer. You can upload your own notes alongside your research to connect ideas. You can use interactive mode to steer the podcast your way, which that was my biggest magical moment in this one. You can export data tables straight to your Google Sheets in one click, generate a briefing doc before every important meeting, and share a public notebook link and build your authority really fast by showing everyone the notebook that you built and everything, like all the quizzes and audio interviews and slide decks and reports and video, cinematic video overviews and infographics. Everything can all be in that notebook, and people just be mind blown at what you created for them. Now, those were cheat codes. 11 personal use cases for NotebookLM is you could turn any book into a podcast, and you could learn from anywhere and interact with the information in that book. You could upload course materials and create the perfect study guide. You can feed it competitor websites and find their weak spots very quickly. You could turn a year of meeting notes into one searchable brain in one notebook. You could upload a job description and prep for any interview really fast. You could drop in research papers and get a summary in seconds. You can turn a podcast transcript into a full written report, upload your business plan, and stress test every assumption. You could feed it a legal document and ask it anything in plain English. You can turn a boring training manual into an interactive quiz, and you could build a personal knowledge base from everything that you ever read or want to read. Now, we'll end with 7 ways you can make money with NotebookLM, and I see there's some questions here in the chat, and then I'll get to some questions here live because there's some more stuff I kind of want to play around with and show you. So 7 ways you can make money with NotebookLM. You could be a movie recap script writer. So I found this person over on Fiverr. So Urmesh will create for $10. Will give you 500 words, has 136 orders completed, which means Urmesh generated $1,360 simply just saying that they will write an incredible movie script, recap script for your audience. You could be a flashcard maker. So I found Supin here that for $10 will create 100 flashcards from a document, has 517 orders completed, generated at least $5,170. And they don't even have examples they don't even have a portfolio showing the flashcards that they will make. They say, I'll just do this. And they have 517 orders completed. So you can get into this business and just clean up because nobody else is taking the time to show the work that they're capable of doing. You could be a book summary writer. So I found Diana here on Fiverr. So here, let me zoom in so you can see this a little more. So Diana says, I'll write a summary of a book, movie, or audio in English or Spanish. She charges $20 for up to 2,000 words, and she has 1,500 orders completed. So if you do the math on that, she's brought in at least $30,000 just summarizing books. You could be a lesson plan creator. So I found this person on Fiverr that will create online course content, charges $50 for just one module, slides with one quiz, just like you saw you could create in NotebookLM, has 872 orders completed, which means this person has brought in at least $43,600 just creating lesson plans that you can do in NotebookLM. If you want to be an infographic designer, you saw how fast you can be an infographic designer. I found this person over on Fiverr. They will just professionally design unique infographics. $10 for 10 basic point infographic design, has 4,479 reviews. If you do the math, they brought in at least $44,790 designing infographics that you can do in NotebookLM. If you want to just be a quiz maker, I found Tram over on Fiverr that Tram will write a smart custom quiz or trivia game. $50 and has 1,300 orders completed. And earlier it was actually $47.50, but still for 1,300 orders, they made over $60,000 just creating quizzes for people. If you want to be a market researcher, I found Sasha over on Fiverr that will assist in online market research and business research. Charge $30 to just do basic research with references. Has 2,300 orders completed, which means they brought in at least $69,000 doing market research. And you can do every one of these inside of NotebookLM. So those are 7 ways you can actually make money with NotebookLM. One of the questions that came in was, I saw Wendy said, is the blueprint in AIville now? Yeah, Wendy. So this interactive document that you saw, when you go to AIville, you can actually, this is for our members in the pro section. You can click on AI tutorials, and that whole interactive document with the cheat codes, with the business ideas, with the personal use cases, with the ways you can make money with it, with the links to everything, with some of the prompts that I had in there, it's all right here. So you go to AI tutorials inside of AIville, click on NotebookLM, and this is everything that I put together for you that I used as my guide here today on your NotebookLM tutorial. So that is what I came up with for all of you today. So I hope you really enjoyed NotebookLM. Let's see if there's something else. By the way, if you did enjoy this, I actually do need to take a sip of water because my mouth's getting dry. If you like this, do me a favor and just hit like on my live stream, because then I can look at the number of views and the number of likes to see kind of like how many likes and views ended up being for this. And if you're watching the recording of this because you weren't able to catch this live on YouTube, same thing. If you still hit like, it'll help me actually look and see where the likes and views landed. And if you like this style of teaching, I know it might be a little bit of an information overload, but if you like the way that I taught and everything, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, because every time I go live on YouTube, you will see me do live streams like this. Now, if you are a member of my YouTube channel and subscribe for a little while, you might have noticed over the last week, there's been some normal videos that were uploaded that were like 8 to 11 minutes long. And I also uploaded some short form videos. So I promised I never was going to do anything like that on YouTube, but I just was curious how many taking these live streams I do that can go upwards of 2 hours or more longer. If I took clips out of those live streams and turned them into like little, 8 to 12 minute videos and then some really short form content, like how would those work? Because I'm really just trying to learn YouTube. I'm trying to do my best on here to teach everything that I possibly can. So that's what those videos are you're seeing pop up on my YouTube channel. They're me clipping parts of my live stream and putting them out there just to see if anyone would be interested. So thank you, Sunny, by saying such a detailed tutorial. I love it. And thanks, Howard, by saying you're the best teacher on the internet. And I like the outline method. And you're also the one that had information overwhelm earlier. So I love that even though you're a little overwhelmed, that you do appreciate it. And one of the best ever. I can't wait to leverage this tool. Yeah, you've got to understand this, that NotebookLM is free. All of you can be using this right now. There is no reason you should not just get in. And again, you just go to notebooklm.google.com, and then you just log in with your Google account, and then you just create a notebook and start playing around with it. Here, I actually I'll show you. There's one thing that I did not demo, in that to show you like what the research and the deep research looks like. So I showed you that what it looked like when it was completed, but here I'll create a brand new notebook, because I would actually like to create a notebook about the Blue Ocean Strategy. It's a book that I have in front of me. The Blue Ocean Strategy by W. Chan Kim and Renee. I love this book, and I talk about this book all the time. So I would love to have a notebook about everything about the Blue Ocean Strategy that I can then interact with and talk to and come up with ideas on for different things that I could do in implementing strategies of the Blue Ocean Strategy. So I will not choose fast research. I will do deep research for in-depth reports and results. So I'm not uploading websites. I'm not uploading YouTube videos. I'm not uploading files. I'm not connecting my Google Drive. I'm just going to use the deep research feature, and I will say, here, this is how I like to deep research. I would like for you to find every in-depth report, study, interview, video that you can find about the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy by W. Chan Kim, and how I can apply a lot of the stuff from the Blue Ocean Strategy to my business. So I need the sources to be actionable and helpful about in-depth use cases of the Blue Ocean Strategy. So that is what I would actually put in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and send this off. And you will see though, it'll take a little bit of time. Like, hopefully it'll still be here. I'll still, you know what? This live stream just passed over an hour. Sometimes these go on for 2 hours. So we're just going to hang out here for a minute because I want you to see how it's even letting me know it's planning right now, but feel free to leave. So that's why it's letting you know it's going to take a little bit of time. So what I can do is I'll just play around now and just call it Blue Ocean Strategy. And then I can watch the steps that it's doing right here on getting the resources for me. I will click on the book and maybe type in, if I type in ocean, okay, I can put like an ocean wave in because it's the Blue Ocean Strategy. And then I'm just basically going to sit and hang out and wait for my sources. And then when I have my sources come in, the very first thing that I'm going to do, and I will do this with every notebook that I create. There's a lot of different things that you can create in the studio, right? Right below my video here. The one that I'm going to always create right away, let me turn off my video so you can see it, is the audio overview. Because the audio overview is that audio podcast that you're going to be able to interact with. Because I mean, yeah, having a video overview and having the cinematic video and having a mind map and having a slide deck and reports and flashcards and quizzes and infographics and data tables, those are cool. But the coolest thing is the audio overview that I can actually interact with and interrupt and talk to. Like I'm talking to two people that are experts on this topic, and I can guide them however I want to guide them on how I can apply that to me. So that is how I'm going to go about doing this. Now, why it's doing the research and everything, let me still take a look here and see. My mom is saying all we're getting is rain and strong wind. I didn't know it was raining and windy outside. I have my blinds shut in my office right now, so I can't see outside what it's like. I didn't think it was going to be very bad weather. Okay, so honestly, Chris, can I get a transcript of your talks? Because I can't remember it all. Yeah, so that is what I put inside of AIville. So inside of AIville, here, while we're waiting for that to generate, I'll show you. So when you go into AIville, again, this is the paid part of AIville. This is not free because the transcripts are what takes me forever. So when you go in here, you have the tutorials. So if you wanted to see everything that I talked about with Nano Banana 2, when you click on it, you're going to see my hour and 21-minute video. But if you want the transcript is actually right here inside of AIville as well on the right-hand side. And you can actually search the transcript up here on the top right where it says search. So you can actually search throughout my video and interact with my video directly inside of AIville. And then you have my actual guide and my notes for all of the tutorials that I do. So not only do I have tutorials for all the top tools, but then I even take all the blueprints and then I create tutorials around those. So whenever you see me do anything about like how to create UGC ads, this was an hour and 20 minutes long, but then you also get my 3-step guide below that I actually went through in the video, because I understand a lot of this is hard to take notes on, and even having a transcript for these live streams would be really hard for you to do anything with. But if you want a cheat code, if you don't want to be a member of AIville, I understand. So what you could do is you can actually go to my live streams, any of my live streams, and just grab the link to the live stream. Here, I'll show you. This is what I would do. If you don't want to pay for anything, you can grab let's go to my channel here, and then let's go to my lives, and then let's just grab the live stream where I talked about how to make viral AI UGC ads in 3 steps. This is an hour and 20-minute video. So I'm just going to hit share, grab that link, go over to NotebookLM, and we will say, we'll just, for the source, I'm just going to drop in the YouTube link. So I'm going to insert the YouTube link. So there's only one source in here. So again, this is going back to the question where somebody asked if they could just get a transcript of my talks. So again, all my notes and everything are inside of AIville. But honestly, if you want to do this for free on your own, create a notebook and call it, Chris Lux UGC ad strategy, and then it already downloaded that video. And then what you could do is create an audio overview immediately. So I'll just create an audio overview. We could make it a deep dive, or we could make it, I think the deep dive is super cool. So we'll just do the deep dive. And then you're generating a podcast where two people are going to go back and forth and debate about my UGC ad strategy. And you can just listen to that if you want. And then you can interact with it. And then if you actually want to pull in notes or a transcript, or if you want, you could create slides off of my video. You could create a mind map from my video. You can make flashcards in my video. Whatever it is that you want, you can actually get access to just for free using NotebookLM. So, all right. So, all of that being said, the deep research is now completed for the blue ocean strategy. So, look, it pulled in top 40 sources. So, I can click on them and I can see, actually, I have it zoomed in a lot. So, it has all the sources right here on the left-hand side about the blue ocean strategy. All I need to do is hit import. Now, all of the sources of all of the topics about the whole strategy of the blue ocean strategy is all right here being now imported into my blue ocean strategy NotebookLM. Now, it takes a little bit to import this because it's actually transcribing all of this into everything. And Katra said, "I love that. Thank you, Chris. You're welcome. I'm trying to give you like real use cases on how you can actually get into all of this." And then Neuro Whisper said, "How can I get into the AI tutorial section?" You literally just go to aiville.com, click on AI tutorials, and if you don't have an account, it'll ask you to create an account. You create an account, and then you get access to everything inside of AIville. Okay, so that's funny. He says, maybe I can do this about you and see what NotebookLM says about you. Have some fun with it. See what you put in your own name and all of your resources of stuff online. See what it says about you too. So it takes a little while to import these, as you can see, but the good thing is as it's importing, you can jump away and just jump back into other things. So I'm back in my other notebook about my UGC ad strategy, and you can see it's generating an audio overview right now. So why it's doing that, I could say, you know what, make me a video overview too. Make me a cinematic video overview. And hey, also make me a mind map on this. And, make me, go ahead and make me an infographic too. And these are like little AI agents that are creating all this stuff for you. And then you can just, whenever it's done, it actually made a mind map immediately. So this is pretty crazy. So step one was to create an AI influencer and product, so you can see like what to do, what the image generators are, how to create the scripts. You can just have your own interactive mind map off of my live streams on YouTube or anybody's live streams, not just my live streams. So that is hopefully helpful for you. And see if there's anything else I wanted to share. Okay, so it pulled in and actually has all my sources ready to go for the blue ocean strategy. So now what I would do is I would click on audio overview, say, give me a deep dive. I'm not going to change anything, and I'm just going to hit generate. And then now I'll wait for my audio overview to generate, which is that podcast for this notebook and NotebookLM, and then I'll just interact with it. So it's super cool and it's a lot of fun. So that's everything I got for you about NotebookLM. So I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you had fun being here. I'm excited because I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday. I don't go live. I don't record anything. It's my break time. So I'm going to take a little bit of downtime for the next 2 days. Then I will be back next week. And I never know how many days a week I'll be going live, depending on how in depth how much of a tutorial I have to build. So I wasn't live the last 2 days on YouTube because I had to spend those 2 days building this tutorial for NotebookLM for you, which I did today. So if you see that I haven't gone live for a few days, I didn't disappear. It means something big is coming. And this is kind of an example of what that looks like. So I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. Do me a favor, again, if you like this video, literally hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more live streams like this. And what can really help out is if you click the share button and just share it on Facebook and be like, this guy just blew my mind with what Google came out with today. Just something like that. Or just, you don't even have to say anything. Just share the link on YouTube or share the link on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. All those little things help me out. And when I see more things happened on my live stream, like more people liked, shared, and subscribed on this video, that's a trigger for me to know, oh my God, I need to make more videos that in depth because more people did stuff on that video. That's the only way that I know if my live streams are doing good or not, is actually looking at the stats. So that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris Luck. I've got like 46 of these hats now in all kinds of different colors. And I am the creator of AIville, which is the largest community in the world for people like yourself who are learning how to use AI, and people like me who are obsessed with learning how to use AI and then teaching it to all of you. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on my next live stream. Bye for now.